Ernesto Rosari here. Today we're going to be working with a PVC progression. This one's borrowed a little bit from Justin Stone at Elite Baseball Training. We're going to follow most of his 10-step progression. We've added a few elements to this one and a few more different focuses. So hopefully this will be a little bit beneficial to improve swing path and both swing path and to improve rotational velocities. So the first one we're going to do is we're going to start in our normal stance. PVC is going to be into the ground, and we're just going to walk away from the PVC, making sure that our weight is nice and even, the PVC doesn't move, and we're working into the ground. So we're going to do 5 reps of this. Notice he's nice and even. Feet are coming into the ground, heels are into the ground, creating good ground force. Weight isn't on the back side and the PVC stays still. The next one we're going to do is we're going to try to create hip and shoulder separation and start to work on sequencing patterns with this one. So he's going to do the same thing. He's going to walk away, but now after he strides, he's going to only rotate the hips, keeping the upper body still, and again the PVC does not move. Now this one's a tricky one for some players because they're not able to separate their hips and their shoulders. You can do this by performing one of the movement assessments that are out there. On Base U is a good one. Elite Baseball Training has a movement assessment. Now what we see here with Zach is that his shoulders actually take off and they create an upward tilt. He has a tough time separating the lower half, so we're really going to try to focus on keeping the shoulders nice and even through this, landing even, and then creating the rotation. We're going to follow this one up. You saw he was kind of moving in one motion, but this one's going to be all in one motion. So same drill. Instead of stepping, pausing, then turning, this time he's just going to step all in one motion. Now I advise that if you're doing this progression with younger players, you use sets of 10. So you do one set of 10 before you move on to the next one. Once you see that players have started dominating these movements, you can drop them down to 5 and you can kind of progress through this a lot quicker. From here, I'm actually going to skip one of the PVC progressions you see in some of the other ones. Here, we're going to go with the PVC is going to be in his, we're basically going to go through the same progression, except you're going to start in your own stance. You're going to choke up about 1.5 feet because we're really trying to see what the bottom of the PVC is doing. So he's going to stride, just landing into the ground. We're still not activating the hips yet. Just making sure that we're nice and even, both knees are bent into the ground, both heels driving into the ground. From here, we're going to go to the step, pause, turn again, focusing on getting into the ground and only the hips rotating. No upper body movement just yet. Again, this is going back to the sequencing. Players who have been able and coaches who are fortunate enough to use K-Motion, the sequence fires starting at the hips. So hips are pelvis, and it goes from pelvis, shoulders, lead arm to lead wrist. So we try to activate and try to perform that sequence as best as possible using this PVC progression. The next one, all in one motion. Zach's kind of a sweater, so you'll see that happen a lot. Very good. Let's go one more here. Good. The next one, this is where we really deviate from some of the progressions that you've seen before. We're going to go overhead here, and and we're gonna go inside the elbows. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through the progression one more time, reinforcing good habits. So he's gonna start in his stance with his feet. He's gonna stride. Now the whole goal with this is to make sure that the PVC doesn't move at any time. So let's turn 90 degrees here, face that way, face this wall. So keep going, good right there. So when you'll notice that as he strides and as he goes through his movements, so on this one, go ahead, stride and turn the hips. There's a little bit of a sway of the PVC, but we want to try to limit that PVC movement as best we can. Again, this is all going to be determined by hip mobility, but if we can try to train what the shoulders are doing in this movement, you're going to see a lot better spin rotation, your sequencing is going to be a lot better, and you're going to have a lot more success. Good. The last part of this segment is going to be the same movements, except now he's going to add the torso movement. So in terms of sequencing, pelvis is going to go first, then the torso is going to follow. Every once in a while, I'll tell a player to purposely have a collapse of the backside where they pinch straight back. That way they can feel a negative feeling, understand that that's the wrong feeling to have. It feels really weird. It throws them off a little bit, but you'll notice they'll remember that feeling. They're like, I don't want to do that anymore, and they'll have better movements moving forward. It's kind of trying to understand the difference between hot and cold. If you don't know what cold is, you won't know what hot is, and vice versa. Good. Next, we'll go into underhooks. What he's going to do is he's going to put this into his elbows, into the inside of his elbows, and he's actually going to push the PVC down into his elbows with his hands. Same thing, except this one's more of a movement, working on path and forward motion. So he's just going to step and turn with this one. Okay? Still trying to focus on driving the hips first, but we're less worried about separating here. More focused on just getting that upper torso rotation. Good. From here, we're going to go into our normal stance, and we're going to start working on slotting and bat path. Now, these are probably the most important parts that I hold valuable to anyone's swing. I think bat path and face me to start off. I think bat path and rotational acceleration are probably the most important. You can get away with poor lower half, but you cannot get away with poor bat path. So we're going to start off this first one working with slotting of the PVC and the back elbow. Good. So notice here he's pulling that elbow into the rib cage, and the PVC, the bottom of the PVC is actually going 45 degrees up the first base line if you're a righty. If you're a lefty, going 45 degrees up the third base line. Notice that the back of the PVC is heading down to the ground, and the bottom of the PVC is pointing straight up. Now here we don't want too much hip mobility or hip movement. It'll come in this next drill, so we're going to actually add the hip movement to this, and the PVC should face back towards the pitcher because of this rotation. Okay, we still want to focus on the same movement. This is a progression, so whatever you did on the previous one, you want to focus on the next one. So this one's still going to be shooting back forward, but now because he's rotating, now the PVC points back towards the pitcher. Pitcher over here towards the camera. And there goes the PVC. Good movement, good snap technique. Back of the PVC is pointing down towards the ground. Upward part of the PVC, or bottom of the PVC is pointing upwards. Now this is going to create a good upward trajectory and upward path of the barrel as you come through the zone. Now here, Zach's already warmed up. He's done a full super speed slugger progression protocol. So now he's pretty warmed up, and this next movement is really going to activate the core. What he's going to do is he's going to rotate quarter turn while trying to maintain the PVC connected to his right deltoid. Again, Zach's a right-handed batter. All right, he's going to try to stay a little bit more connected than that, not let the PVC come off his shoulder. Now, his momentum, he's trying to generate so much speed that the momentum actually takes the PVC off of his shoulder, which is okay. What we don't want is for the initial movement to take that PVC off the shoulder. See right there, he's trying to maintain angles. Now we want to get to a good, strong power L position, maintaining those hands tight to the body. Okay, think Mike Trout, think Nolan Arenado, JD Martinez is another good one. These are some professional hitters that maintain that power position through their rotation. Okay, we're gonna finish this one up, or I'm sorry, we got 2 more left. What we're gonna do is we're gonna do a swing, and it's gonna connect to the forearm. So here we want to grab the PVC about 2 feet up, and we're trying to get that connection with the bottom of the PVC to the forearm as quickly as possible. Now notice how it's nice and even. It was even with the forearm there. We're trying to create good attack angle, good vertical bat angle, and the PVC will have to either finish above the forearm or just even with it. Anything that finishes below. Okay, good. Notice the bat path. Give me one just below so they can see it. We'll flatten out the bat. And for some players, because Zach has really good front elbow and front arm positioning, the bat is still going to come up through the zone. For other players, they'll have a tendency to pull the elbow down, the front elbow into their rib, and it'll cause the barrel to come down through the zone, creating a negative attack angle. We always want to attack in a positive way, positive attack angle. Right there, there's good technique. Okay. Our last drill that we're going to do of the PVC progression is going to be our full check swing, maintaining angles. Again, very core inclusive, a little bit lower. Yep. We're going to grab it about 4 to 5 inches above the bottom of the PVC. Again, the core is going to be very activated by this. Notice that his arm angles, he's not extending to the ball. He's focusing and making sure that he's nice and connected the entire time. Good. Turn sideways. Pitch it over there. Good. Yeah, let's do sideways, and then you're going to face and turn around the other way. Good. Notice both arms are bent. Good angles within the arms and the wrists. He's not breaking. If you were to continue this path, he'd rotate in this same fashion. Again, Zach's a little bit limited by mobility, but he's going to try to force this rotation as far as he can take it, all the way through contact. Good.